Southend away, another tough game. We say it every week, but I'm guessing, you know, after 2 draws in a row at home, you're going to want to take that attacking performance away from home.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I think the lads have played very well in the last couple of games. Haven't got the wins we wanted, but we've played well, and it's a great challenge for us. Good atmosphere, good old stadium, and so all the boys looking forward to it.
And just a little update, you were obviously without Chiori Johnson. Sam Perry was there, wasn't he, on Saturday after sort of recovering from his concussion. Are they any closer to being involved? And are there any more injuries that you're worried about?
A couple, but hopefully we'll train tomorrow. And Sam's back in reckoning for sure. So we've got a good of morale at the moment with the players chomping at the bit to get a game. It's a really good game.
Sorry, Chris, you broke up a little bit there, but I think I got the gist of it. You've got the most draws in the league. I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised to hear that. Away from home, you often look at a draw as a good result, but do you need to get 3 points after the 2 draws at home on Saturday?
Well, always looking to game. We've gone into every game trying to win it, whether it's home. So we'll do this again. Southend side have obviously invested to try and that step further, which is where they fell short season, judging by what's been said. But I know Kev, the manager, was week. He was very complimentary about our last 2 games, and I've seen plenty of them to know that it's a tough game, but these should want to play in these games, and they are looking forward to it.
And is that hard to sort of hear? Because I mean, if you listened to, I'm sure loads of fans listened to Luke Garrard after the game, just being so complimentary, but it's almost more frustrating, isn't it? Because you didn't get the win.
Yeah, it can. It can be. It can, of course. I mean, they have to say it. That's for sure, and say it because the facts are there for everyone to see. We played very well. We had a period of game where we were switched off from to their goal, and it was very costly. Yes, you could say that we missed chances to go and win it. That's true, but if you don't see that floppy goal, you win the game 1-0. Again, we've gone back and we've doubled sessions on the training field, worked hard. We've tried to show the players again. Some critical moments in us. I can't say I'm not happy with the way that the players play. Some moments in a game need to be better, and the players know that.
And a word on sort of Southend, it feels like a similar size club. They've been on a similar trajectory to Yeovil, both been at a much higher level and both trying to make their way in the National League. Both sets of fans have seen such ups and downs. It's going to be a tough contest, isn't it? They're always close games, and they've played each other so many times. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, 2 fantastic clubs, both trying to get back in the league desperately. And looking at Southend's last couple of games, certainly the home games, there's been a good atmosphere. The Wrexham game was a tight 0-0, could have gone either way. We were the same against Wrexham, so there's some similarities, and we've got to be on our toes for sure. We know they've got a good side there, and they probably should be higher in the league. And they're not. They've had some results that have perhaps gone against them right at the death. I remember seeing a couple of games where teams have scored late against them. But for us, we've got to concentrate on us. We can't worry about how good teams are. We're about ourselves and what we can do. And I think what we've asked players in the last couple of games, they've carried out. But we've just slipped up with critical moments, one being a set piece in the first against Chesterfield, and the second being a time frame from us scoring where I want that solidity and that calmness of, if the ball has to go in the corner, is in the corner. If the ball has to be passed properly in between lines, whatever scenario, just need that decision making to be better at those critical points. On the face of it, it looks like it's 45, but there was another 8 minutes to go. So you've got to see that, whatever it was, between the extra time of the first half. We've looked through it with the players and the staff, and when we've taken that onto the training field and tried to implement it. So, as I say, I'll reiterate the same things I said last week. The players are working their socks off to get in the team and stay in the team. And just to polish those little moments where they're just either making the bad decision or not seeing danger early enough.
And is there something in that you need to sort of work on the training ground? Because you've been pegged back so many times that you need to take a game to them and go 2-0 up, just so you've got that kind of cushion that you haven't had this season. It
would help, no doubt about it. And we had enough chances to do that, didn't we? And it does help. And we tried to, we went in the second half having conceded, essentially just before half time, whether it was 5 or 6 minutes in the end before half time. But we rest on our laurels. I thought they did everything they could in their powers to go and score that winning goal. So I don't think there's an element of sitting, an element of trying to just be and resilient. I think they're going for whatever reason in front of goal. There just hasn't been that ruthless element to our game that we need, because, as you rightly say, we can't just defend hoping we're not going to concede any chances. Every team concede chances. We need sometimes to put games to bed, and that's been a big frustration for all of the players and us, of course. And on the players you've got, you briefly sort of mentioned it to me last week that you wanted to bring in some reinforcements. Do you feel like you've got the support of the hierarchy of Yeovil to get in some extra bodies, extra players, whether that be sort of an attacking player to kill games off? Do you think anyone in? No, we've got the support, but it has to be the right type of player, and it has to be the right type of deal for the club, and that won't change, and that's important. We've got some very good players here, and we want those players to be the ones that put the stake in and say, I'm your man. And we've got to be patient with some. I understand that, for sure. We have to be patient, but as the games are ticking on, we want wins. We know that, and we want to score goals. And I think our overall players warranted it. I know that the feedback I've had from people has been positive. We'll always face criticism because we're not where everyone wants us to be. We feel that more than anybody because we're working our socks off. But we go back to the training ground. We try and put those drills on and replicate perhaps situations we've had where it's someone's crossing a ball and you're running near post and trying to get good contact. So we're looking at everything we can do to try and help the players to produce on a Saturday. And again, just a word on Southend. They're 3 points ahead of you. It would be a good one to just close that gap, wouldn't it, and move up the table. Definitely, no doubt about that. That's the aim. Southend will have a different opinion, of course, and I know very well. We were together at Bristol Rovers, and he also phoned in the week how well we played in the last 2 games. So we've heard that before, but we're going there knowing we're playing a good side. It's a very tough fixture. I thank everybody for the support. Yes, the fans want us to be higher, and so do I, more than anybody. But they've stuck with us, and I appreciate it. And the players will be giving everything again on Saturday. And just lastly, will you have Owen Bevan available for Saturday after his international duty? Yes, he'll be available. Back training today. He really enjoyed it. Great experience, albeit only played 10 minutes. So he's got plenty of he's got plenty of juice left in the tank, and he's available to selection.
Well, that's great news, and I guess that's a great experience for him to bring back as well.
Yeah, it is. It's, you know, with any player that does that, this is part of their career, and it's really important for them. And it's important that we give them that opportunity to be able to do it, and all manage them when they come back if they have played. For Bev's on this occasion, hasn't played that long, so it's quite an easy, and he's injury free, so that's a positive for all of us. Thank you, Chris, and good luck Saturday. Thank you very much.
Morning, Chris. How you doing?
Hello, not bad. I'm
good.
I'm back for some reason. It's playing me up a bit. But how are you?
Well, I've got back troubles as well, but we won't go on about that now. Let's be more positive than that. Basically, there was a couple of things in particular I wanted to bring up with you.
Yeah.
You voiced the fact that, you know, we've got one of the lowest budgets in the league, and, you know, guess you've got to live with that. That's reality of football in the lower divisions these days. But are you finding that it's you know, putting too many restraints on who you want to go and sign?
Any football club at any level, within the mean, we going to be very competitive with the players we've got, and we are. We're always, as every club in the country is, always looking at players, and that won't change. But there are enough players in this building to be successful, and we're asking those players to be the ones to go and do it. That's our particular situation. It's an incredibly competitive league, as we all know, and some clubs are perhaps speculating to accumulate, maybe stretching themselves, and that's we've seen that across certainly League Two and the National League, where it's very difficult to sustain that. So there is a balance to be had, but I'm just focusing on the players we've got in this building at the moment, and there's enough good players to be able to do the business, and I've told them that, and they know that. So the messages have been very clear this week. I've showed them what they're facing, which is a very good side, but when we play well, we're a very good side. We just need to have that killer instinct more often.
Do you think, I mean, it's a very young side, obviously probably one of the youngest in the league, I would have thought, looking at it. But do you think maybe if you could get just one good old war horse, for the want of a better way of putting it, you know, somebody that's been around a while and you know, maybe getting towards the end of his career, but having that a bit of experience that could have just unlocked the door for some of the youngsters?
No, it's a good point, and yes, you're right. Main, they cost a lot of money, and the search has to be quite particular, so we've got to be careful with what we do. There's backing from everybody, you know, the club are fully behind me, but it's getting the right person, right value for this football club, and that's the critical thing. And we are in a situation where we do have experience within our ranks, definitely, and we're going to draw from that at the moment. The balance is one where I'm not afraid of young players at all, but I do lean on those experienced boys and want them to galvanise the group and be leaders. You know, I remember for Torquay at the ripe old age of 35, and why was I signed? Because I did what I set in, probably, and behold, we did win a lot of games and get promoted. Not just because I signed, but we did have a spine of experience, and yeah, that's what you look for. You can't always do that straight away. I reiterate, those boys are absolutely giving everything for the club. They train hard. They're a brilliant bunch together. They want to be the ones to get ourselves up the table, and we're given the chance to do
that. The other thing I was going to bring up, well, two of these. Jake Scrimshaw, he's got a pretty impressive CV. Is he likely to be pushing his way into the team fairly shortly, do you think?
Definitely. We'll box off to try make an impact. It's been a tough position for him with coming from Bournemouth to us, and the elements of the National League are different to under 21s at Bournemouth, under 23s, but he has been out and produced on loan at big clubs. So it's one where, again, he's fighting for his spot. Obviously, it was great for Alex Fisher to get his first goal, and Jimmy Torre scored. So there's a competition for places with Malachi Linton as well in our attacking areas. But yeah, Scrum he's certainly working hard to try and get that start.
On Saturday, I don't know how to describe it quite. The referee, it was more like Fred Carlo's army at one point in the game. It's all very well having, I understand people got to learn the game. They've got to learn their job. But at the same time, when you're in a position like a referee, you can influence games to such a degree that managers can get the wrong end of the deal completely. And in some cases, a bad refereeing decision can end up with a manager losing his job. I mean, do you feel that it's, on Saturday, it was a bit of a farce, wasn't it?
Yeah, I do agree with you. And I've been a little bit disappointed in several of the games that we haven't won, where I'd say some decisions contributed to that. I can't blame the referees for us not picking up at a corner or us turning off. But what I can do is pinpoint something that's gone wrong before that, or an accumulation of things that have happened that have led to something. It hasn't been good enough, and that's a fact. But it doesn't say that underneath the result, and no one wants to hear me say that. I can agree with you, but I can't suggest it because it looks too much like an excuse. I just think that there's massive pressure on the officials. They probably aren't experienced enough all the time, and ultimately they probably don't get paid enough, which is another story. It's a tough job. It's an incredibly tough job, and I've got every admiration for any young official starting out. But it's such a competitive, important league with managers and contracts and jobs riding on it, that we need these decisions to be spot on 95% of the time, not 70 or 75% of the time. So although I wouldn't instigate that argument, AD, I do agree with what you're saying.
I mean, there's enough money sloshing around in the Premier League. You'd have thought that, they would have put some sort of emphasis on referee training right from the lower levels, even from our league.
Yeah, I think they're trying. I think they're trying to, and we did have a meeting in the off season about officials and officiating and what they were trying to do and how they were trying to learn. And there is a degree of our league being the guinea pig league, as it were. Which doesn't help. It doesn't help. It doesn't help when there's massive clubs in this league and there's so much riding on it. And you're right. There is. I was thinking about it last week when you think about the money flying around, and our lads are giving absolutely everything. Some moving away from home, some on low pay. Relative to the other end of football, and you see Phil Foden, for example, just been rumoured to be given a 6-year deal on £250 a week. £250 a week, 78 million quid over 6 years on my maths, I think. And we're asking our players to give everything and be perfect, and it's very, very difficult to give perfect performances. But the disparity in money is crazy, and some should be filtered down to help for sure.
Well, Southend on Saturday, I've been to Roots Hall many times. It's as you say, it's a good old stadium there. It's a proper league stadium, isn't it, really? Yeah. They're going to be tough to overcome, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're a good side. There's no doubt about it. They've had some good results recently, and that game against Wrexham was very competitive. And we know we're facing a team that have got a lot of threats, but we, again, as we have done over the last couple of weeks, we've got to focus on ourselves and what we can do and how we can perform well. And on performance levels, I've been very pleased with what I've seen. And I see it on a day-to-day basis. As I speak now, I can hear the music in the background. The players are in the gym. They're working the socks off. They're working hard. They want to do well. The winners. That's why they're playing football for a living. But we just need, as I say, a little bit more in those critical moments, and that's what the emphasis has been this week.
I suppose basically, one off somebody's bum might be the answer, according to John McGinn of Scotland. So I'm looking forward to seeing a goal going off somebody's backside.
That's a good one, isn't it? The John McGinn one. Yeah, that's right. I mean, if he does want to come down for a bit of training, no problem. He'd be more than welcome. And if one did come off his bum and go in the bottom corner, if I brought him on for the last 15, that would be excellent. So we do. I don't like talking about luck, but we haven't had any. So it would, if something can go off someone's shin from a corner or get a little deflection like it's happened to us, it would be fantastic. But the old adage doesn't go anywhere, does it? You make your own luck, and we've got to start doing that. And if our own luck means you've got to tune in for 4 minutes before they score their goal, and then we've got to do that. So no excuses on that front. You've got to make your own luck, and the players know that.
Well, Mr. McGinn, if you happen to be tuned into our press conference today, you are very welcome to come down. And best of luck on Saturday, Chris. I'm sure it's going to turn. It's got to turn, and I think maybe Saturday's the day.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
Hello. It's going to be more John McGinn questions, isn't it?
I'm going to leave that to Adi, I think. You touched upon that very well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pattern of conceding so soon after scoring happened again. Do you feel, especially with how you played in the second half, if you'd have got to half-time winning, you'd have ultimately won the game?
Yeah, potentially. What I did say at half-time is you've got to quickly get over that, because we were annoyed with it. You can't get away from it. It was mentioned in the change room by me first and foremost in a certain manner. It was a critical period. We did have a couple of things go on where there's people leaving the pitch, coming back on. There's got to be that bit of leadership, and the players understand that. They know that, and they've discussed it, and we've worked on it. It gives us the base, doesn't it, to go from if you go and score a second goal in the second half and you're 1-0 up. I still think there was enough second half to go and win a game 2-1 or 3-1. So the argument rages, doesn't it? You don't concede, you win games, and you keep clean sheets. It's a fact. But we had enough chances to score and go and win the game. So I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased that the players are, because Borehamwood are a good side. They've been challenging the last couple of seasons that spend a lot of money to try and do that. And we're facing these teams and we're expected to roll all of them over. It's not going to happen like that. We've got to be super competitive, and we've got to be resilient and try not to concede. What I would say is, in games like that, where you are getting chance after chance after chance, you've just got to take them. You've got to take one of them. And that's what I'm asking for the boys. Go and be the player that does it. Get in the team, score a goal, stay in the team. It's the basic rule of football. Get the shirt and keep the shirt.
And from the outside, it looks like there's a tricky situation. The boys are playing really well, so it's really positive. There's an underlying element of the anger and frustration that you're not getting the points. So how is the overall morale, and is there a balancing act needed to keep emotions in check?
Yeah, there is. It's a good question. The anger's there, definitely. The anger's there from me, and the players know that. But there's also support, and there's also belief, and I believe in the boys, and I'm supporting the boys, and we're working hard together to try and get to the end goal, which is to win games. We know we've got to win games. We're not daft. We know that. We know it's not been good enough. We've only lost 1 in 7, but we've drawn 6 games. 4 of them we should have won. But I can't keep looking back. I just got to keep focusing on the next game ahead of me. This is a tough one. They're a good side, so it's a game to be really enjoyed. And as I say, we are looking forward to it. But when we get those periods when we're on top and when we're creating, we've got to be mindful that you have to score more. You have to score more goals.
And obviously, you're 10 games in now. You've got 2 away games coming up this week. With players that have had a run in the team now, will you find a bit more, perhaps, about your squad in these next 2 games?
Yeah, I'm finding a lot out all the time. I'm finding out about the robustness of the players and what they can do week to week in training. You know, it sounds a long time, 10 games, but it's not a long time for us to be with this group of players. In reality, you know, some managers are there 3 or 4 years working with a group of players. We've had 10 games. On the whole, if I'm going to evaluate it, we've had some really positive performances, and we haven't killed teams off. And I can't look much deeper than that at the moment, because you can over search for things. It's about someone putting the body on the line at the right time and someone organising at the right time defensively. And in possession, when you're creating chances, it's about someone really believing it and going and meaning it and running through the goal. And so again, the messages remain the same. I'm positive it will turn, and it'll end up turning into wins, and we'll get on a good run. I have to believe that. And I've got to believe that my group of players who are working the socks off every day hard are going to be the ones to do that. If we can improve it here and there, then fantastic. That would be a big plus. But at the moment, we focus on what we have got and what we can do. And that's what we've done this week again.
Let's hope that run starts on Saturday, Chris. Good luck for the week.